Young, we do have Mohammed Abdulaziz. But before we do all that, let's bring you the latest as to what the reports are, both locally and internationally, about how the raging or spreading coronavirus is being not only cultured, but also maintained, so to speak. But let's go to CNN. And it says countries so far have stepped up efforts to bring nationals back from Wuhan. And it's the city where the disease was first recorded, currently under lockdown from the Chinese Communist government, also indicating that the latest numbers, at least we have 170 people confirmed dead and more than 7,700 cases, an increase and have been confirmed in mainland China as the Wuhan coronavirus spreads. I don't know why the Western media seem to be, targeting the Wuhan coronavirus. Coronavirus is coronavirus, but spreads across Asia and the rest of the world. It's been reported, suspectedly in Africa. The first case that was suspected in Cote d'Ivoire has since proved negative, but in that country, we've had 4 more cases recorded again, and the investigation is not confirmed at all. We've had cases also suspected in Kenya, Ethiopia, and currently, we do know that Egypt, with the official airline Egypt Air, so far have suspended many flights. At least they have 6 flights that go in and out of Cairo. Many of them for tourists who will be visiting Egypt and the rest of the country, getting to look at their mummies and, the good pyramids and the relics that they tend to have down there in Egypt, just for touristic purposes. They also do have some great trade relations with China. So far, it's also indicating that nearly 60 million people have been under partial or full lockdowns in Chinese cities for a week. At least in Wuhan, transportation as well as relevant trade and commerce actions or activities have come to a standstill. And so if you have citizens there, just like we tend to have many Ghanaians who are studying in China, or traders, especially going through from Accra, Dubai to Guangzhou, that is under lockdown. You can go. But globally, there are more than 100 confirmed cases in 19 places outside of China. It tells you how fast the disease is spreading. We've had report in the United Arab Emirates for the first time, the whole of the last 24 hours. That also under investigation, and Finland reporting their first cases subsequently. Again, these cases usually are just suspected, so they have to go through a series of culture and some alterations to get some conclusions definitely to announce. But there have been some evacuations that have been planned. The United States, Japan, and several other countries are now flying their citizens out of the main city of Wuhan. At least we know that for that city, they have occupants ranging between 11 to 11.5 million people. And usually you get to find that it's a city that has been, tagged to be the Chicago of China, so to speak. But look, when it comes to common symptoms, you may have some headache and other malaise. You also have runny nose, cough or sore throat and muscle pains. It's the usual cold, only that in the severe form as it is, because it's a flu sort of. When you go up, it says you have a temperature of some 38 degrees Celsius. So usually when you get to the port of Accra or other major international ports or port cities, after the thermometer has run through your body, once it's above the normal 37 that the human being is supposed to be gauged by, then you're quarantined, so to speak. If you have trouble breathing, then there's a suspected case of pneumonia, and then it follows with some sepsis or death, or ultimately. The spread is always human-to-human transmission, even though we're told that the genesis of all this is from animals to human transmission. So those mutations tend to happen subsequently. So you also go up, and it looks like already we're having some great research being done by Western colleges of medicine, and the Imperial College London. They've estimated that at least 4,000 people were infected in Wuhan by the close of January 18, 2020. And almost a week before the lockdown of the city began, we had a number of cases that were not announced by the Chinese government. They thought they could manage it, and subsequently, there's a suggestion that there seemed to be a nationwide figure of 20,000 infections by the close of, and this is how the BBC is also announcing this or reporting this, and this is in real time. Just by 2 hours ago, they had first done the posting and updating that the death toll has risen, and various spreads of the virus to every Chinese region have now been reported. The death toll now 170 and counting, and now they have added 11 to the CNN report of some 7,700 confirmed cases in China alone, and infections is said also to have spread to 16 other countries beyond China. This is the alert from the Ghana Health Service, which is also indicating that so far they've had some great collaboration with the Ghana Immigration Service. They also have with the Ghana Airports Company to make sure all that is done. But the World Health Organization is currently going to meet today to discuss whether the virus constitutes a global health emergency of an epidemic. And Wuhan is the lockdown city, but other cities in China also facing all those difficulties as well. Well, let's transition quickly, make sure that we do the discussions. And of course, for those who tend to take a lot of flights, and so far, the World Health Organization says we shouldn't be touching people. So today, no shaking of hands with my guests this morning, just to make sure that the measure, it's not that I hate them, it's just that the preventive measures. But look, Andrew Japambesa, good morning to you.
Morning.
Yeah, great. Legal practitioner, Member of Parliament for Sekondi. He's been joined by Mohammed Abdulaziz, Member of Parliament from Muir. He's supposed to have been in Tamale this morning and subsequently go to his constituency for an event by this afternoon, but he's decided to sacrifice his time and be here. I'm sure we'll find him some lockdown flight to the place. How are you?
I'm blessed.
Great, great. And yesterday, something important happened. I used to have a couple of friends who had their parents working in the Obuasi mines. And when the president assumed office as the president of the Republic of Ghana in 2017, he had made a promise back in 2016 that the Obuasi mines will be resuscitated, and that was that. I'm just announcing that to you. So we'll discuss that. That was good news. And knowing that 2020 is around the corner, that's bad news for the NDC. You know.
How does that come?
Okay, it's okay. But we'll discuss that. It's okay. I've retracted my statement.
Why do you have to retract the statement?
I'm not a communication officer.
It's a factual matter.
All right.
That during Mr. Mahama, the former president, office. Very well.
Don't make
them go and read the news item. Read the news item.
Okay. But we had a coalition, the pressure group that is against the compilation of the new register, meeting former President Jerry John Rawlings over the last one day, just again to tell them about the concerns they have following, the series of demonstrations that they are undertaking. And we'll just take you through myjoyonline.com, which is some of the best platforms that you can always get all the latest updates. And then also we have the inter-party resistance against new voters register being petitioned, and so we have former presidents also being told a price of all the latest that we need to know. A delegation of the coalition led by People's National Convention chair Bernard Mona met the former president. He said the EC's refusal to listen to wise counsel, particularly from persons who participated in the electoral process for a very long time, look, it's a wrong decision according to him. But the former president also said that was a good reception that he had, but subsequently he also made remarks that 2020 will be very hard-fought election. He said the mandate of the leadership is vested in the people, and the Ghanaian people are saying that some apply some economic reasoning. We're telling the Electoral Commission that if it's not broken, don't fix it. And we all know what the ongoing debate is.